Oh wow, fancy.
Okay, I'm making sure that the audio looks okay.
Uh, Seems fine. It seems like mine is going along a little faster than yours, but
Oh, really? It looks even on
yeah,
mine.
it's probably just like a visual thing. I'm sure it's fine.
Yeah. As long as it's not like continuing to accelerate, I think we're good.
Nah, it looks like once it got to the end, it like evened out.
Yeah. I didn't realize that that Pacific time was slightly faster than Eastern time.
Yeah, yeah. It's like the what is it? Like it's like a record, like how
Yeah.
like the one side of it spins faster than the other,
Yeah.
like the inside versus the outside. It's like that. So we're traveling the same distance, but we're going at different speed.
As only picked up by Zencaster.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Zencaster's doing a lot of mumbo jumbo behind the scenes magic that equalizes the time differences and just makes it all work.
All right, and with that introduction, welcome to episode 22 of the Podratix Gaming Cast. I'm Zach.
I'm Sophia. It's hard to believe we've already done 22 of these.
Yeah.
I feel like I said something similar for 20. I don't know.
Probably, but
probably.
But that's been long enough that I don't remember. So
yeah. How have you been? It's been a bit.
Okay. I'm still getting. So I got over like a really bad sickness that actually wasn't COVID. I was so scared it was going to be. Still wasn't fun. But I still have like a latent cough from it, which has been following me for like 2 weeks now. So that's been great. But other than that, I've been doing pretty well. So how have you been? I mean, you've got to have been pretty good, just given the new shiny piece of hardware you have now.
Yeah. Well, I'll start with how I've been. Allergies suck. They're destroying me. So I'm doing fine right now. I'm not really too like sniffly or congested like right this moment. So
that's good. Hopefully
it continues for the recording. But in general, I've been battling allergies, which has been, it's been fun. But in other news, I finally got my Steam Deck.
I feel like you've been talking about or waiting for that for almost the entire time we've been doing this show.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we did kind of start it like right around the time that they announced it. I think.
Yeah.
I can't exactly remember, but it's been about a year or a couple of years. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
time really does flow in a weird way.
I was gonna say because it's been almost actually a little over a year since we started Podratix. So,
but yeah, a whole year of waiting with a 3-month possible release window for it to finally unlock on the last possible month, at the last possible moment. It was like you may be able to finalize your order between April and June.
I mean, that's a pretty big window.
That's a pretty big window. But I did get it just a couple of days ago. And it is exactly what I wanted from it. From something like this.
Yeah.
It's like it's a Switch. You can't take the controllers off of it, obviously. Yeah, it's a Switch that you could play games on. I've been having a lot of fun with it. It runs Elden Ring really, really well.
That's cool.
So I've really been enjoying playing
what settings and frame rates are you getting?
I usually So the resolution, like the internal resolution, because the
Yeah.
screen isn't like very big.
Is it
Like
like
it's bigger.
768 or something?
Yeah, it's 800,
Oh, okay.
1280 by 800. But like it's
Oh,
the
okay.
screen itself is like just the right size that like it doesn't need to be higher resolution than that.
Yeah.
And but
To
I've
be fair,
mostly
the
been
Switch's
playing it
screen
like
doesn't
plug.
need to be higher resolution either. It just needs to actually be able to get to 720p
Yeah, most
in
of the time it
handheld
has to
mode.
downscale.
Yeah, running sub HD.
Um, oof. Um, but I've really been enjoying it. It has because it's based on Linux. Valve has been doing an incredible amount of work to make sure that like people can do things with it. Like they provided like a lot of support and documentation for like how to get into like the kernel or whatever.
Mm.
Um, like if you hold down the power button, there's an option to go into desktop mode, which just brings you to like a full installation of Linux
Oh wow.
with like mouse and keyboard and everything.
Oh wow.
It's amazing. One of the first things that I did, and I've been so excited to try it. One of the first things I did was I hooked up my drawing tablet and my mouse and
Oh
keyboard to
yeah.
it, and I drew pictures on it.
That's really cool. I know you
It's
talked about wanting to be able to do that.
yeah, it's not the sort of thing that like I would say you could like take to a park. It doesn't have like the longevity of a laptop,
Okay.
or I guess it has about the battery life of a gaming laptop, which is
Okay.
like an hour and a half to 3.5 hours if you're lucky.
Yeah, depending on what you're playing. Elden Ring versus like an indie game.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, there's like and they keep updating it. They've been adding more like settings that you can use to alter how what kind of performance you want. Like you can mess with the CPU clock
Oh
and the
dang.
frame rate and stuff like that. So it's basically a perfect Switch.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I'm really kind of tempted to try and get one now.
yeah.
I'm not sure if I'm ready to spend that kind of money right now, but
Yeah, it was a lot, and I think the thing that sucked the most about it was like just like having this $400 that I was like trying to hold on to,
yeah,
and
dear
then
life.
all of a sudden not having $400 in my account.
Yeah,
But it has been it has been worth it. I think I'm very happy to have it. I'm very happy to have a computer that I can play games on.
yeah. No,
So I've
that's
been playing
exciting.
games on it.
No, that's really cool. Yeah, no, my friend Doug also has a Steam Deck, but they got theirs like I don't know 2 months ago or something, month and a
Lucky.
half. So I know they have Doom on the Switch, and they have it on Steam as well. So
Mhm.
they're running a comparison, and it was pretty crazy just how much better the Steam Deck version is.
Yeah, like it is. I kind of knew what to expect going into it.
Hmm.
I wasn't expecting it to handle like ray tracing or anything. It is like DirectX 12 compatible, but I don't know if it can necessarily do ray tracing
Yeah.
or whatever. But because it like runs at a pretty low internal resolution
Hmm.
anyway, you can get away with like medium to high settings on like most modern games.
Right, right. And again, Fidelity FX is just enabled by default, so
Yeah.
you're getting like a good like 5 to 15 frames higher on every game.
Yeah, so it's just been a really great experience. It's not perfect, obviously. Like it definitely feels like something that they are still kind of working on.
Mm, okay.
I feel like I'm kind of in a sweet spot right now where like there's been since they actually started shipping it, like there have been these updates that have like smoothed out a lot of the rough edges. Some of those are still there, but they've like you can tell that they've been listening to feedback and have been like continuing to improve the experience. So
Yeah.
I'm really excited for the future of this thing.
So how does it feel to have a handheld console with the D-pad and good analog sticks?
Pretty good. It feels really good to hold.
Those analog sticks look very quality.
They are very nice. They have like a really good weight to them. They have like a satisfying click.
Mm.
And I think the best thing about them is that they're modular. So if they break, you can just swap them out.
Hmm. I think Nintendo needs to be listening to that.
Apparently, Valve had to work very very hard. It was like an intense and I think painful struggle to get it to like fit into that form factor.
Yeah. Oh, I would imagine. I
But
mean,
they
given
did
what
it.
it's got under the hood, yeah.
They did it, and it works really well. Plus, like because like the hand grips are so thick, the when it's just like sitting on like resting on your desk or whatever,
Yeah.
it's elevated, so it's getting plenty of airflow,
Oh, that's
which is extra great.
and it probably feels better too. That's the one of the, I mean, one of the many things I hate about the Joy Cons is like they're so poorly designed from an ergonomic standpoint.
Hmm.
Like they're just these flat little plastic things with
Yeah.
slight curvature on the edges, but it just feels so like cheap and bad to use, especially when I go back and I use like my Wii U gamepad. I'm like, oh, this feels so much better. Like it looks like a kid's toy compared to the Switch, but it feels
Hmm.
so much better.
Yeah, because it's designed to be held in your hands.
Yeah, ironically enough. And speaking of Joy Cons, I actually one of the pairs that I sent in and got repaired by Nintendo. There's
Yeah.
now a new issue with the right one that they sent back, where every once in a while it just won't take button inputs on the right Joy-Con.
Oh, that's fun.
So I'm probably gonna have to send it in again.
It's sending every other input into Nintendo to track you. They're building a profile off of your inputs.
Yeah, yeah. It's apparently a pretty rare issue, but it sounds like something could have gotten messed up when they were like putting the Joy Cons back together.
Hmm.
So it's like, I mean, I guess I could take them apart and try and fix it. It's just like, do I do I want to do that?
Yeah, but yeah, when you can send them in for free,
Yeah, and it only took like a week or something. Like
that's
it
not
was pretty. It was a pretty fast turnaround.
that's not bad. That's better than a year.
That is true. That is definitely true. It's better than a year. Yep.
Yeah. Plus, if you've got if you've got a pro controller, then you can at least still
Yeah,
play it.
and that's what I use like 90% of the time, anyways.
Yeah, I don't play on handheld anymore, just because like the Joy-Con that I have need to be sent in.
Yeah.
But I haven't figured out how I'm supposed to print a shipping label yet. So once I figure that out, then
Oh, like, do you
uh,
not have a printer? I'm guessing.
no.
Okay. It's something you don't like think about needing until like those rare times you're like, oh crap.
Yeah, it's
Suddenly I need a printer.
yeah. You grow up always having one, and then
Yeah.
when you move out and you don't have it anymore,
Yeah,
it's like
exactly.
oh shoot, that thing was actually kind of useful.
I thought it just sat there and collected dust.
Yeah, sometimes I would scan pictures with it.
Yeah.
What else? I feel like something else. I can't remember. Maybe it'll come back. It'll come to me later.
Okay. What have you been playing besides
Well,
Elden Ring? Just a lot of Elden Ring.
yeah, just
It's all the Elden Ring.
obscene amount of Elden Ring. I've been getting back into Slime Rancher. I've never really like seriously played it. I've always
Yeah.
just kind of like I picked it up for a few minutes and then kind of like lost interest. But I've been giving it a more like concerted effort at playing through it, and I'm finding it really enjoyable. It's like it's got this really good like balance between like farm sim and like exploration platformer.
Hmm.
That's really satisfying. Um, it's very like low stakes farming. Your slimes will, they'll be unhappy, but like they don't die or anything. They just like go crazy and get angry if you
Hmm.
don't feed them. And like I don't know, it's really relaxing. It's a lot of fun to play. I'm really enjoying it.
And there's slimes.
And there's slimes. I love slimes. It's my favorite fantasy monster.
Have you been
Um,
playing that on Steam Deck?
yeah, I started playing it on my Mac while I was waiting for the Steam Deck,
Yeah.
but that's actually what I was doing when I was late to the recording. So
Oh, okay. Okay.
that's why we're
I thought for
starting.
sure it was going to be Elden Ring.
No, no, no. I decided to take a break from that today.
Okay.
Um, I stayed up all night playing it, so it's time for something different.
Yeah, I get that. I get that. Have you
Um,
actually like finished the main story?
of Elden Ring?
Yeah.
No, I haven't. I actually
Okay.
started a new playthrough because like
Of
I
course.
it's
One of like 17 future playthroughs.
it's really good. If you the way I'm kind of playing it similar to how I played Breath of the Wild, where
Hmm.
I just like I wouldn't ride horses and like I obviously didn't have the bike until like way later.
Yeah.
But like I would just like run around and not really like rush anywhere unless there was like a specific place that I needed to be or that I wanted to be. Like I would opt most of the time to like try and walk everywhere and just go exploring it like whatever looks neat. And playing Elden Ring that same way
Yeah.
feels like kind of relaxing in a weird
Hmm.
way. And you're always finding things to do, new like places to explore or enemies to fight. You're always like finding new weapons or getting wrapped up in side quests. So I think that's my recommended way of playing Elden Ring.
Okay.
Is to just wander around and find interesting things to do.
Yeah.
Don't worry so
That's
much
really
about the story. You can do that whenever you feel like it.
that's cool.
What else? What else? Oh, I started the new playthrough of Resident Evil 2, the
Oh,
remake.
okay.
It's still pretty good.
Fantastic game.
Yeah,
Are you not I don't think I've asked you how you feel about that game.
I really like it. I think it's one of my. I think I probably would put it in my top 10. I've played
Top 10
it
what?
top my top 10
Okay.
top 10 games. Um,
Okay, wow.
yeah, I like it a lot. It also like because I've played it so many times now. Like I've
Yeah.
done so many runs of it. Like I'm not 100% familiar with it, but like I'm familiar enough with it that it is kind of relaxing in a weird way for a horror game.
Yeah, yeah. No, I know what
To
you I mean, I played through it 4 times myself, so like
yeah
once on each Leon and Claire and then their second run modes.
yeah just a lot of fun to wander around, solve puzzles, and shoot zombos.
And it runs well on Steam Deck?
It runs extremely well.
That's so cool.
Um, yeah. Obviously, like you don't have to have like the max settings up
Yeah.
to really enjoy it. But like even if you do, if you do have it like cranked all the way up, it still manages to handle it pretty well. Just like as long
Okay.
as you're not getting too crazy with all the settings, like increasing the resolution to 200%, which I don't understand why that's a thing that you can do.
Huh.
Um, but but yeah, it runs really really well, and it's been a lot of fun to
That's
come back
cool.
to after I don't know, maybe a year or two.
Yeah, just thinking about it's making me want to go back and play it. Did you play the Resi 3 remake?
I played the demo for it,
Okay.
but I haven't gotten the actual game. I've heard that it is not as good
Well, it's
as.
not. And to be fair, the original game wasn't either. I think a lot of people misremember that game as being a like an amazing Resident Evil game, and it's fun. I like the remake way more than the original game, even with all the stuff they cut out.
Mhm.
And with, I mean, people are like, oh, they ruined. I just lost his name. What's the big thing that's like,
The Tyrant.
yeah, yeah, that goes stars. What is it called? It's like the most whatever
Um,
that thing. Like a lot of people didn't like how what they did with that character, because most of it is like just kind of pre-scripted.
mhm.
But I don't know. I think they did it so well with Mr. X that it just would have felt weird.
To do it
Like
again.
yeah, exactly. Like in the original two games, Mr. X wasn't done nearly as well. So they kind of need Nemesis. That's it. They kind of needed Nemesis in 3 to like really flesh out that idea, but it's kind of like in reverse this time around, where
Mm.
Nemesis like is more of a scripted event, and I think it works fine. It's still a really good game. It's still better than like most survival horror games on the market. Um, it just can't compete with 2, obviously,
Yeah, two is just like such a
and
like
7. 2 and 7 are like near perfect, so it's it's kind of hard to top
yeah
those.
yeah. Seven's pretty good. I'm not really fond of like the mold as like
Mm,
monsters. Just because like they're visually uninteresting.
okay.
But the
I
Baker
disagree, but
family
that's
is
okay.
the Baker family for sure
Yeah,
is a trip. And it's like such an interesting scenario, such an interesting setting.
yeah.
It is appropriately disgusting and scary.
Did you play the DLC?
I think so. There was there were two.
Yeah. Yeah, the Not a Hero, which was I think free, but then you had to pay for the other one, and I can't remember what it was called. But it was the one that was like you're playing as the relative, like the crazy uncle or whatever, like going through the swamps, taking out mutant crocodiles with spears.
I don't think I
It's
played
like
that
one of the
one.
best DLCs like ever.
I don't think I played that one because, like, I think when I did the DLC, it was when we had Game Pass, so that's how
Oh,
I had
okay,
access
okay.
to it. And I think the one I did was the one where you play as Barry. Do you play as Barry?
You play as Chris in Not a
Chris.
Hero. The other like burly muscle guy with no
Yeah,
personality. Actually, Barry has more personality, I think, than Chris. Chris is just kind of a meat wall with a gun.
so yeah,
So
I haven't played all the DLC for that, but
okay, I would
yeah,
definitely recommend it if you get the chance.
okay. Yeah,
Because
I'll
if that doesn't pique your interest,
no, it definitely does. Um,
zombie crocodiles.
we got the summer sale going on right now, so it'd probably be the best
Yeah,
time to snag it.
yeah. Also, they're doing the 3 months for $1 PC Game Pass if you haven't already done that.
I haven't. I've been considering that. Um,
Just been waiting strategically.
yeah,
That's
Good-
such a good deal. It's insane.
yeah. It's just that like I'm not sure. I'm not sure if there's like really enough on the list that I would want to have Game Pass to play. Especially now
Hmm.
that I actually have a computer I can play games on.
Yeah. Of course, you can play Game Pass now on your Steam Deck.
That's true. I think it's cloud only. right now, but
Oh,
still,
okay. They don't have a native.
no. Microsoft has like a whole like how to where like they make you install the Edge
Oh,
browser
okay. Okay. Interesting.
to in order
Yeah.
to
So maybe
access it.
maybe wait on that then.
Yeah.
Of course,
Um,
next year is going to be insane for Game Pass. We kind of talked about that via messages, but it's like I don't know. I'm kind of tempted.
yeah, it's gonna be pretty crazy. I saw that the Silk Song finally got any sort of news,
Yeah.
and it got a new trailer, and it didn't get a release date, but it did say um, play day one with Game Pass, and
Which is kind of crazy. I wouldn't think they'd need that, but
yeah,
I
I
know a
mean,
lot of people still buy the games regardless.
well,
So
yeah, and I'm going to
yeah,
definitely. I have to.
well, for sure.
I
I was gonna
love.
say because you're gonna play through it like so many
Yeah,
times.
yeah, I am. I actually, I have Hollow Knight on the Switch, and I went ahead and bought Hollow Knight on Steam so that I could play it on the Steam Deck.
Wow. I mean, I enjoyed the game, but like that's like way too far for me.
It's I don't know, something about it is just
I can't.
really, really, really
Yeah, I
good.
can't say I haven't done that though with other games. So
Yeah, exactly. So I'm super excited for Silk Song. It looks like just from the little bit that has been shown, it looks amazing.
yeah, it
Um,
looks even more smooth than Hollow Knight. Like the
yeah,
movement just seems so smooth and
yeah. Well,
fluid.
Hornet is like a much more acrobatic character,
Right, right.
so it really looks like just moving around as her. It will be a lot of fun.
Yeah. Yeah, even I'm excited.
Wow, we'll have to see which of us plays through it more times than the other.
I have a guess already. So anything else that you've been playing?
I'm trying to think. I downloaded a bunch of stuff, but I haven't. Um, I finally got the DLC for Fallout New Vegas, so I started a new file of that earlier today.
That's cool. I
Um,
still need to play that one.
yeah, it's pretty good. I played it for the first time, like seriously, like sometime last year, I think.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah, that's right. I remember you talking about. That was the first episode of our show.
oh, was it really?
Yeah.
Wow, how time flies. um, so yeah, I'm excited to do a second playthrough of that. Um, I tried to download Fortnite, but I think I'll probably have to look up a guide for how to do that. Because like you have to like do it through desktop mode, and um, you have to like put all the files in the right place. It's like
Mm.
this is very much like the most user friendly Linux experience you could possibly have, but it is still a Linux experience.
Yeah,
So there's a lot
yeah.
there's a lot of like not knowing what you're doing, and looking up instructions on how to do what you want to do.
I can see that.
Um,
Can definitely see that.
but in terms of like Steam OS, it's great. It's like having it's like if the PSP or it's like if the PS Vita actually got serious, and also bigger.
Yeah, it was a little bigger when you did that comparison with the Switch. I was actually a little surprised. I haven't seen one in person, so
Yeah, it is. It's a lot bigger than you realize. But
yeah.
also, like when you're holding it doesn't feel too big. It feels like the right size. It's like the Goldilocks and the Three Bears perfect size,
Okay, okay.
just right.
What's the weight like?
Um,
How does it compare to the Switch in handheld mode?
Definitely heavier than the Switch. But it is like the way that the weight is distributed, like in the handles.
Hmm.
Um, it's not really like much of a problem.
Okay. Yeah, because most of the weight in the Switch is the center. Obviously, there's almost nothing in the Joy Cons,
Yeah.
which leads to this like weird, almost bending feeling when you just kind of grab it by the Joy Cons
Hmm.
and don't support the back of it.
Yeah. It really makes me wonder what they're going to do next.
Nintendo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's just do a second episode in a row talking about Nintendo's future.
No new thoughts.
Yeah.
Well, what about you? What have you been up to? What have you been playing?
So I finished Bug Fables just last week.
Hmm.
It is one of the best RPGs I have played in recent years.
Oh, wow.
Absolutely recommend playing it. It's also a lot longer than I thought it would be. So I think I didn't do all of the side content. I did probably a third to half of it. And that got me to about like 35, 38 hours. So I didn't realize it was going to be like a full length game. But it doesn't feel like it goes on too long.
Hmm.
And yeah, the mechanics are just, they're so good. The battle system is better than any Paper Mario game, like significantly. I wouldn't have said that would be possible, but I like it even more combat wise than Thousand Year Door.
Wow. That's pretty high
So
praise.
I would put the game in general like somewhere right around the original Paper Mario, like not quite on Thousand Year Door level, but
Hmm.
um, I don't know. It depends on the day. Like I have so much nostalgia for the original Paper Mario. It's hard for me to like when I think about that game. I'm like, I don't know. Maybe I like Paper Mario more, but I think mechanically for sure. And I think for most people, Bug Fables will be better than the original Paper Mario.
Okay. Yeah, because
So that is very high praise from me.
I can see that. Like I definitely like the original Paper Mario, but also Thousand Year Door just is like so much better. So I
Yeah.
think having something kind of like in between them is good. I'm I'm not as surprised as I guess I thought I would be about the length because Paper
Hmm.
Mario has always seemed way longer than it actually like, or has like not seemed as long as it actually is. Like it seems like it should
Yeah.
be shorter, but like so much happens.
Right. Right. And this game is like it's not mature by any means, but it's definitely made by people who played Paper Mario as a kid and then grew up.
Hmm.
So there's a lot more like political intrigue. There's a lot more just like there's still like jokes and gags, but it feels a little more grown up. And the combat systems, like I said, it's more complex. It's more strategic, um, and the game in general is a lot harder than either of the first two Paper Mario's. So, which is pretty nice.
Yeah, I gotta grab it. It's
Yeah.
still on sale, so I'll have to see if I can.
Oh, is it?
I think so.
Is it on sale on Steam?
I believe so.
Okay.
I can check right now, but don't wait for me to find out.
Okay. Beyond that, I've been playing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Shredder's Revenge.
Oh,
That's the new. Um, I'm sorry. What?
I was just gonna say I heard that one was pretty good. I'm eager to hear what you think.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever mentioned it. Like that is like TMNT is probably like my favorite fictional franchise of all time. So I have so much love and nostalgia for the series. I've been tracking this one since it was announced back in like 2019 or 2020. It's been delayed a couple times, I think. And it is just like, it is not only is it a perfect love letter to fans of both the arcade games as well as like the original 80s TV show, but it's also just like the best beat 'em up I've ever played. Like mechanically speaking, it feels really good to pull off combos. You can even juggle the bodies of the foot soldiers after they're defeated.
Oh, wow.
And there's no point to it, but it feels good to do. And you're just like, you find yourself doing it, just juggling bodies because of the combo system. Um, and yeah, there's just a lot more moves that you can utilize. It feels a little bit more like a fighting game. There's a proper dodge to it as well, and you can like move out of the dodge and into an attack directly. So you can like back up with a dodge and then jump forward from that dodge.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, it feels like the perfect modern beat 'em up, and then also a love letter to Ninja Turtles. So it's definitely a potential game of the year candidate for me.
Wow, that sounds pretty good. I know that a lot of people really like the classic Ninja Turtle games, the
Hmm.
arcade brawlers.
Yeah,
Um,
I have the arcade one up cabinet, so I'm a little obsessed.
yeah. Um, I don't know. I don't really have any particular opinion on the Ninja Turtles because I didn't really
Hmm.
grow up with them.
Yeah,
Um, but it's really cool to um, see like see something classic like this get so much love.
yeah.
Um,
There's so much charm. I mean, just like the things the foot soldiers are doing. Like usually in the old arcade games, like they would sometimes like be in the background or doing something, and then like kind of jump out at you. In this game, they took that to the next level where they're like working desk jobs. They're on the set of like a cooking show with a hat and stirring eggs and stuff, and then they like throw their apron aside and jump into combat.
that's
Um,
amazing. That sounds
all with like some amazing pixel art and
oh
animations.
that sounds so delightful. I love that so much. It's
Yeah,
so
I think
charming.
current. I think right now, $25 is a bit steep for non Ninja Turtles fans.
Hmm.
So if you have any interest in playing this one, I would personally recommend waiting for a sale. It was absolutely worth it to me, but I think it's still worth playing even if you don't really have any interest. It's like I said, it's just a really fun beat 'em up, and there's up to 6 players
Okay.
at the same time, which is
Look,
crazy. I didn't get a chance to test that full 6 player mode
is it
out,
like
but you can.
local?
So up to 4 locally, and then 2 online. So 6 total online if you want to play that way.
Okay.
And the online works really well. I played the Switch version, which you would think would not be the best version, but it runs really well. And you can on any stage you can just kind of hit the like check players list, and it'll show you like every game, like a list of people's games that are open that you can just jump right into, and you can see the percentage of how far they are through the stage, what characters they have, so you can pick a different character. And just kind of jump in like it was an actual arcade machine, and you just kind of pumped your quarter next to some strangers.
That is so cool.
So I mean, they just went above and beyond. There's there's so many references. There were a couple things I had to look up, and I've seen almost every episode of the show. So
Golly.
yeah, it was just like it's the perfect love letter.
Now, see, why couldn't Sonic Origins have got this kind of love?
Yeah,
Like they
or Garfield
or
Kart for
or
that matter.
Garfield Kart, which I played once and then haven't played since.
Yeah, hmm, it sure is a game.
It's a kart racer for sure.
Yeah, it doesn't even have like good Garfield references.
No, it doesn't.
Like they're just racing in the
There,
desert for some reason.
yeah, there's like one of the racers. I swear is just a cat that they made up. Like I swear, I swear that
What
they don't exist.
Okay, so there was a character. I was like, I don't remember that character, but surely Sophia will. I'm like, that's going to be one of those deep cuts. So hearing you say that, like, I just kind of lost it. I was taking a drink of water and almost spewed it. Because I thought for sure you were going to be like, oh, yeah, that's whatever from, like, and be able to pull out, like, the exact strip that it was from or
Yeah. Oh,
whatever.
that's from the that was from the Flash game where you had to walk around a haunted mansion and find
Yeah.
donuts. No, it's I swear it's
It
just a
just,
complete it's an OC. They they made a Garfield OC for their kart racer game because they didn't have enough characters.
How did they not? I feel like they could have. Surely there's more deep cuts.
I don't know. I don't know. As well as I know Garfield, I haven't really been like religiously reading the strips for a
Gotcha.
bit. So like I don't know.
Maybe it's a new character. I don't know.
Maybe the thing about Garfield is that it's just like followed the same few characters with like tired jokes. It's like an anti comic.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought we might like, at least play online or maybe stream it. And I'm like, I don't know if I want to even like I booted up I think 3 different times. So,
It might be fun
cuz I
to
kept
do like an event like over
yeah,
Discord or something, but I,
right.
I, I don't think I recreationally would opt to play it.
Yeah. The AI is brutal too.
Hmm.
I was playing on like the easiest difficulty and I wouldn't see anyone for the entire race and then some like horrible chain of events would happen right on the last lap and I'd lose. Not to mention the drifting is not great. It's very easy to like oversteer into the wall.
Hmm. It took me so long to finally figure out how it works.
Yeah, it's not
It's
intuitive.
like it kind of works in theory similar to how like Mario Kart 8 does it, where like you can like tilt the stick back and forth to like build up a boost.
Yeah.
Except that like it doesn't work the same way at all.
Yeah, and it's like if you're pulling away from like if you're making a left-hand turn or something, like if you move the stick left, you're going into that wall at speed. And if you pull the stick right to avoid that happening, you'll slowly drift into the inside wall.
Hmm.
So you really have to give yourself a lot of room because either way, like if you cut it too close, you're hitting that inside wall.
Yeah,
And there are times where you'll hit the wall and just stop. Like all speed is just gone from touching that wall.
yeah, not a great game.
and then and then the next thing you know, like Liz with a conductor hat for some reason is passing you and you're like, what
Yeah,
happened?
the famous conductor hat from Garfield strip, 1978, July 33rd.
Yeah.
Famous, well known.
Very famous. Even I know that one. Beyond that, I've been playing Silent Hill 2. I almost forgot to mention that
Yeah,
one. Um, so, I mean, we talked about that on the show before. It's been like on the top of my pile of shame for a while because I feel like everyone's played this game at some point except me.
hmm,
Um, and I don't know. I'm kind of liking it. I'm not loving it as much as I thought I might.
yeah.
It's taken me. I haven't played a classic Resi game or the first Silent Hill in years. So it took me a while to get used to the tank controls again. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm kind of glad they remade 2 and 3, so I don't have to go back to that. Um, but I am playing the inferior 360 version. It's apparently missing some fog effects
Hmm.
in certain areas, like that opening area where you're like by the overlook in the restroom.
Hmm.
When you exit there, I don't think you're supposed to see like the same copy pasted tree down by the lake in the exact lake shape. Are you?
I don't think so.
It looks really bad, and I was like, I bet that's one of the areas where they screwed up the fog effects. But other than that, it's still very foggy, so I can't imagine there being much more than this. Um, yeah, it's a weird game.
Hmm.
Like the first one is a weird game, but this one's like even weirder, and I think it has a stranger tone because the people you meet in the first game are like kind of strange, but they seem a little more normal, like that policewoman you meet initially.
Hmm.
But like everyone is just like completely gone mentally in Silent Hill 2. Um, And like the fact that the main character is not freaking out, like he's just kind of done. He just mentions like in the beginning, he's like he's just kind of done with all
Hmm.
this. He doesn't even know why he's here. He doesn't know like he knows that his wife is dead when he gets a letter from her. He still decides to come here, and just like nothing phases him. So there's like every cutscene is this weird like he doesn't care, but he's like trying to talk people down, and everyone else is just like a complete lunatic around him. Like the guy Eddie, I think, the guy puking in the
Yeah.
bathroom, or the girl with the knife that you meet in the graveyard initially, and then um, I'm not super far into it, so those are the only two characters I've met.
Hmm.
Um, I'm in the second apartment building right
Hmm.
now. That's as far as I am. Uh, it's a little more vague than I remember the first one being, and maybe it's just because I was maybe I played with a guide then too. I don't know, but like this time I had to look up so much stuff. Um, like I didn't realize like oh I was supposed to use the juice boxes to get rid of the
Hmm.
garbage chute to
Hmm.
get the coin for the
Hmm.
puzzle. So I had to like I was in the other building. I'm like oh wait I only have 2 coins. What happened? And then I had to backtrack the whole way. But in spite of that, it's like I keep playing it. So
Yeah.
I don't know. There's something there to the atmosphere that's like so bizarre, but I like need to find out what's going on.
Definitely, definitely. Like it is so weird. It is so like it has like kind of a dream-like quality to it in
Yeah, yeah, that's
like a an not necessarily like a bad dream, like it becomes bad
yeah,
here and there, but like an uncomfortable dream that you like you can't quite wake up from, but you're just like you're kind of like lucidly aware of that sort
yeah.
of thing. It just has like this otherworldly like weirdness to it. Um,
That's the perfect way of putting it because it's not scary. I mean, it's like the atmosphere is very tense,
mhm.
and so I'm very tense playing it. But I'm not like there aren't like jump scares everywhere. You have the radio that cues you in to when there are enemies nearby. Um, but
I don't know like how much like you know about like Silent Hill in general, but
I've
like
only played the first game, and that was like a decade ago,
okay, okay, um,
and I can't remember how that one ended.
yeah. I don't want to like I don't want to like give too much away because I've only played it the one time, and I would like to go back to it sometime.
Okay,
Um, it is you'll learn more that I think will put into perspective. Um, shoot, what's his name? James.
James Sunderland.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you'll learn more about like what James's deal is,
Okay.
like what his relationship with his wife meant, like what it was like, um,
Because
and
he kind of seems nuts right now.
yeah, well, and that's part of it because it's like that. It's that dreamlike quality. To,
Yeah.
like nothing really makes sense, but in a way that makes it seem like it should make sense.
Yeah. Like I'm never sure like is all of this actually happening?
Hmm.
Cuz it's really like more of a psychological horror than traditional like Resi or Dead Space like zombie blasting.
Definitely, definitely.
And yeah, I forgot how how much they encouraged you to not engage in combat by making it just the most uncomfortable combat system imaginable.
Hmm. Yeah,
I couldn't figure it out, and there's no like on-screen prompts when that like when you fight that first that like first kind of zombie thing, whatever those things are, the straitjacket people,
yeah,
and like you just have a board, and for some reason like he just doesn't he decides to fight this thing. He's not phased by it at all. And I was like, it didn't give me any prompts. I'm like, what am I supposed to do? I'm like pressing every button. I was like, oh, there's an attack stance button and then an attack button.
yeah. Like you have to put yourself into like the mode to attack.
Yeah. I also forgot, and this was in the first game as well. Like it doesn't really let you know when you're close to death.
Yeah,
So you have to keep pausing the game just to be sure, like, oh, okay, I am near death. Because for a while I was like, oh, I guess he's still okay.
yeah.
Um, I got all these health items. I feel like I've been hit a bunch, but and then I checked and it was like blinking red, and I was like, oh, I was about to die. I didn't even realize it.
Whoops.
But I do understand like why this is so popular. And like I said, I kind of like it. I'm not like in love with it yet. Maybe that'll come.
Yeah, and that's fair. Like you don't have to.
I
You
think
don't
if it
have
was
to
a
be.
little less obtuse in like the puzzle solving or uh, letting you know where you need to go next, because it's weird. Like both Silent Hill games are very open in a way, but they're very linear in what you're actually supposed to get done.
Hmm. There's
So
there
at
there are
least there's like
a lot of corners for you to get lost in, but there are very few
yes,
like doors that you're supposed to go through.
right, right. I didn't figure out to go into the apartment for a while. I think I picked up like almost every item in town. Um, Oh, that's the other thing too. Like I'm playing the HD remaster, but I'm like I can't imagine playing this on the original PS2 with its like 240p resolution.
Hmm.
There's so many like little things in the environment that you're supposed to see is like, oh, that's just a thing that I'm supposed to pick up. I missed the key to the courtyard from the apartment building, like that scene where you walk into the room and Pyramid Head is doing something, something horrible to those mannequins.
Hmm.
Um, and like he decides to hide in the closet for some reason and then shoot at it for some reason. And like you're supposed to go back in afterward and pick up the key because it's like a necessary item. I walked around the entire apartment building before I got back around to that because I couldn't have imagined I missed something. So yeah, I don't know if you've heard the rumors, but apparently there's a remake of this game in the works by Bloober Team, the
Hmm.
Layers of Fear team. And that was part of the reason I wanted to play through it now too, in case that is true, because I feel like this game would definitely do well from a remake,
Yeah,
and they kind of still make those fixed camera angle games. So I don't
interesting.
know if they can modernize it a bit. I think this would be a more modern masterpiece. But
Yeah. I hadn't heard about that. I had heard. Um, so apparently they made these games for PC as well.
hmm
Um, but the ports were like super garbage.
that's what I've heard. Yeah.
But fans have apparently been working on patches and fixes for the PC version of Silent Hill 2 that
Mm,
basically makes it like the definitive way to play the game.
okay.
Like they got the fog fixed, they got the lighting right, and stuff like that.
Did they like add sparkles or something to the keys or items you need to find?
I don't know about that. It's not something that I've personally looked into.
Okay.
Um,
I spent like almost 40 minutes wandering around, like stuck on that before I had to look it up.
mhm. Well, I think also like the thing about the remaster is that like a lot of like design elements were just kind of removed.
Mm.
Like text on the signs is like completely changed. Like it's like an entirely different font.
Oh, really?
Famously, I think it was like the PlayStation 3 uh, HD version.
Which is the same version I'm playing.
Um,
It's the same developer.
there's a sign that is the font is replaced with Comic Sans.
Oh, no. Oh, no. I didn't notice that.
um, he's like now entering Silent Hill. His Comic Sans. Um,
Wow.
I gotta find it. Silent Hill Ranch.
Yeah, I know a lot of people didn't like this version. The thing is, though, like, there's no place that's selling Silent Hill 2 on PC. and so like it was just more work than I wanted to put into it to find like a shifty website to download the PC version and then have to go through patching it for the with the enhanced fan version.
Mm-hmm. That's fair.
It was like $2 on Xbox. I'm like, okay. Oh no.
Yeah. So
He's past that. I just
even just like looking at those two, like you could see there's like details on the wood there that make it
yeah.
stand out way more, and the other is
Is
just like so
the
flat and washed out.
is the left is that the PC version? Is that the
I think
enhanced?
that's the original, the PS2 version. So what I'm
Oh my
saying, what I'm
gosh.
saying is that like I'm certain that like the reason certain things are especially hard to find is because like details that made them like stand out were
Yeah.
were washed over, were kind of like removed.
Okay. I mean, did you have issues with it or was that
I didn't have any problems with it because I played the PlayStation 2 version.
okay?
Um,
The superior PS2 version.
yes. And I didn't have any problems, but I did also have like some people there like sitting next to me who were able to kind of like
Okay.
nudge me in the right direction without like
Gotcha.
spoiling stuff.
Yeah, there were I think about 5 times already I've had to consult a guide online to be like, okay, how do I how do I get that one coin, the old man coin or whatever?
Hmm. Yeah,
Um,
the puzzle isn't that you have need something long enough to reach down the chute. You need something heavy enough to drop down it.
yeah, but I don't think I realized that it was like the whole like carton of juice boxes.
Yeah.
When I picked it up, I was like, oh, I guess that's just a juice box. I don't know how that's like going to come in handy, but and it also doesn't prompt you with anything. It's
Hmm.
just like you have to stand next to the garbage chute, go into your inventory, select it, and then hit use.
Yeah.
Rather than like click on it and have it be like, do you want to use something here? Like I'm just used to those design choices, so I'm
Hmm.
like, oh, I guess I can't do anything with that yet.
It definitely does have like a little bit of that like old school adventure game kind of
Yeah,
like jank to it, where like it doesn't tell you that you can do something. You just have to sort of intuit.
right, right. And maybe that'll get better too as I realize that's what this game is now. I guess it just didn't click with me that that's what this game was going to be about. And I think the first one was kind of like that too, but again, it's been a decade, and I just kind of have more of like a vague feelings like from playing the game. Like,
Hmm.
oh yeah, I remember that area. I remember this character. More than like I remember that mechanic specifically
Yeah.
about the first game. So, but yeah, I'm going to keep playing it.
Okay. Good.
I don't know how far is that.
You're still pretty early.
Okay,
You're
that's like already
you're
like
like in the first third, close to the second third, I think.
okay, okay. Well, that's not too bad then.
Yeah.
Because I've seen people like I've seen let's plays of this. Like just I looked up like what people's times are, and it's like most people are playing it around like 5 to 6 hours.
Hmm.
I'm already like almost 2.5.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I think I'm behind schedule for other people, but
Well, also
that's
you've
not
never
really
played it
important.
before.
That's true. If I do replay it, I'll now remember the juice carton in the garbage chute for the coin.
Yeah. Exactly.
That was just like the breaking point. Like after I've been exploring for like 25 minutes, a half hour, I'm like, that's what I was supposed to do. All right. Yeah, that's about it
Okay.
for what I've been playing.
Awesome.
Do you want to dive into Sonic CD
Yeah. Oops.
or Sonic the Hedgehog CD, as I guess it's technically called,
Sonic the Hedgehog CD.
but no one calls it that.
Sonic
So
CD. Well, I mean, it says on the box art Sonic CD.
yeah, but then when you start up the game, it says Sonic the Hedgehog CD,
Yeah,
and in the Japanese box, it says Sonic the Hedgehog
I'm
CD.
looking at the Wikipedia article now, and it says Sonic the Hedgehog CD.
Okay.
Um, I can't read Japanese, but it also shows the name in Japanese.
Okay. So I think you have a more interesting view on this game. I thought it was going to be like just pure hate, given your initial messages to me.
Yeah, I ended up liking this more than I thought
Okay.
that I did, and certainly more than like I did initially. Because like when I first started playing it, I picked it up and played with it here and there, but
Yeah.
never enough to like actually make any decent progress with it.
Yeah.
So like I came in kind of like already knowing a little bit like how the mechanics work with the time travel. Um,
Yeah.
and so like I had low expectations coming in.
Yeah.
And
I know you were wanting to play this one.
yeah,
Um,
it's if it, I'm not sure. I'm not sure where to start. I guess to sum it up, it feels like a lot of like when people talk about the worst things about Sonic games,
yeah.
it feels like they made a game out of that.
Yeah, no, that's a good way of putting it. I mean, typically one of the biggest issues that Sonic Team has is they come up with these very, very interesting mechanics, and then they never flesh them out well enough to make them fun. So then they just kind of end up sticking the mechanic in with the regular running and jumping, and it doesn't tend to end well.
Yeah,
And this was kind of like the first time that happened because the series was so young at this point. It really was just kind of running and jumping. But this one introduces the time traveling mechanic, where you start every level in the present, and then there are signs that take you to the past, and you like they look like the checkpoint balloons, but they're like little signs,
hmm
and then that charges you with past energy. And then you have to find a long enough stretch of time to be at max speed to be able to travel back in time, which I don't know if Sonic Team ever plays their games, but they don't typically have a lot of good stretches where you can just run.
yeah.
Um,
Typically, like you'll run into the sign, and you will be like, no way. Like you'll want to keep running as you run through
yeah,
it to like maintain the that speed. And you'll run straight into a spike wall or an enemy, or like you'll drop slightly uh, off of the ground, like onto a different
yeah,
platform, and you'll lose all of that momentum.
yep,
Um, Now they kind of accounted for it in some spots because there are like places that are obviously meant for it. You would run through the
yeah,
sign,
like
and then you would get between two springs that shoot you back and forth
yeah,
long enough to do it. But typically, there's never enough room.
yeah. And if you don't get it done within, I think it's like 30 seconds or something, you lose that charge.
And then you have to go and find a new
Um,
sign.
yeah, because the old one, that charge is gone from that one. So that means going out of your way, and rather than like using the level to to kind of use like the varied level design for replay and for finding better routes, for rewarding the
hmm
player for getting better at the game, which is what the other 2D Sonic games does. This game kind of makes you take the alternate routes, like to refine stuff that you missed, and that's not fun. Because even if you do manage to make it to the past, your goal is then to find, I don't know, a weird UFO thing that Robotnik placed in there,
hmm
and you don't know where it is, so you have to like just kind of wander around the level to try and find it. Once you smash that, then you want to find one of the future signs, and then that you have to once again recharge up to go back to the future, and then that will be the good future if you found the thing and smashed it. If you didn't, you'll be taken to the bad future.
Yeah, I think
So that's the general time
I
mechanic.
think it's like a really neat idea.
It is.
It's bogged down by being tied to Sonic's speed.
Yeah. This feels like it was another idea they had for like a different platformer.
hmm
And then they ended up going, oh, but Sonic's popular, and then like kind of jammed it in there. It doesn't sound like that's how it happened, but it feels like that's what happened in development.
Yeah. This one was made by Sega in Japan, right?
Yes.
Because this,
Yeah, it was made concurrently with two.
yeah, because this was like the teams like split up. There was a North American team and then the Japan team.
Yeah.
Um, so
And one of them did a better job. And you can tell too, it's weird because like this is from a team that doesn't have, even though this game came out like a year after Sonic 2, um, it feels weird because in a lot of ways it feels like you're going back to the first game. The animations and controls feel more like the first game. The spin dash is there, but it doesn't have the same animation and it doesn't work nearly as well.
mhm. You have a new.
So it feels like
You have
this. It feels like Sonic 1.5, but that came out after two. So like all the improvements made in two, it feels like you're going taking a big step back to go to Sonic CD.
yeah, definitely, definitely. Um, you get a new power called the Super Peel Out, which is interesting in theory. A lot of these things are interesting ideas that are not
Yeah.
not very well executed. So basically, instead of like holding down and jump, you hold up and jump. Um, is that it? Because I played on the iPad version, which I think was like uh, the, I had it in my purchases. I couldn't get an emulator working, so I dug through
Yeah.
my old app purchases and played it.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Apparently, it's the one. It's like one of the best ways to play it because
That's what I
it was
hear.
the Christian Whitehead port.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I've heard like the oddly enough, even with touch controls, it's like one of the best
yeah, and you could
versions.
actually hook up a like a Bluetooth controller to it.
That's
So
cool.
that's how I played it. Um,
Okay.
so I couldn't figure out how to get the super peel out to work, but like I have played it before and I do remember like it being a mechanic.
Yeah, I'll be completely honest. I forgot it existed on this playthrough. So until you said, it, I was like, oh shoot, I forgot that was there, and I probably should have tried to do
Well,
it so I could talk about it.
the thing is that like it's an interesting idea because basically you charge up a bunch of speed really quickly, and then
Hmm.
you start like running even faster than like from the spin dash.
Yeah.
And Sonic's eggs, Sonic his legs do like the figure eight, and it looks really cool.
Hmm.
But you don't have the safety that the spin dash gives you. So you if you're not in a good spot for it, you just run straight into an enemy and lose all of your speed.
Yeah. Yeah, I do recall it's a thing, and I have used it before. But I think I typically end up going back to the spin dash anyways because I'm not good enough at this
Hmm.
game. And I don't play it often enough. Like with Sonic 2, like I know like all the routes, even Sonic 1. But like this one, I rarely play. So
Yeah. Visually, um, not as much as a headache as I thought it would be. So in some ways, it is like it is kind of hard to look at. um,
yeah,
but I think I don't know. Like looking at it now, like after so many years, well, like the last time that I tried to play it, something about the
hmm
way that like all the colors work together just feels like really beautiful
hmm
in a weird way. Um, that is to say that like they are interesting as like in terms of like art pieces. They don't.
yeah.
They're not particularly like spectacular zones.
No, they all kind of feel the same. And we'll get to the music later, but like the music, I actually like the music,
Oh, I
but
love the music.
it's yeah. But the thing is, it doesn't really go with the stages. So
Hmm.
like that, like normally there's the kind of like, oh yeah, this kind of like what's the Hilltop
Hmm.
Zone? Like you hear that and you're like, oh, that's Hilltop Zone's music, like just instantly. Whereas I feel like as much as I like the soundtrack to Sonic CD, I don't feel like it goes quite as well with the themes because the themes are vague enough
Hmm.
that I'm not sure the composers really had much to work with.
I mean, Palm Tree Panic
Um,
sounds like it belongs in the stage that it goes to. At least,
yeah, but then everything else is just kind of
yeah.
like
M-
it seems like they just kind of assigned music to stages. Like they had the soundtrack pre-recorded and then they just chose afterward.
Metallic Madness also, I would say, kind of fits.
Yeah, yeah,
But
but like Title Tempest doesn't.
yeah, don't we all just love a Hydrosity? A worse
Yeah, it's
Hydrosity.
it really just is like I don't know why every old Sonic game has it, but like they all just have this zone that's just hey, what if ruins but
Yeah.
underwater? I mean, like they're all the same.
hmm
I think Sonic 2's Aquatic Ruins is probably like the most different, mainly because if you're good enough, you can never really touch the water. But like this is just Labyrinth Zone again. Title
Yeah.
Tempest is just Labyrinth Zone again, and I hate Labyrinth Zone so much. Now, I will say, having just replayed Sonic 1 recently,
hmm
just last year, like this game is way better than the first Sonic game. And I don't remember thinking that ever before replaying both games. But this
Definitely.
one doesn't
Definitely.
have like those weirdly awful pace stages like Sonic 1 has.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
But it's like coming off of 2 because we played 2 even more recently than 1. Like 2 is just so much better than this game.
hmm I'm getting more excited to see how 3 improves on both 2 and CD.
Yeah, because that was kind of more of a reunion, I think.
hmm
Where like all of Sonic Team was really working on that one because it was 2 games technically. They split it in half.
Yeah.
Sonic
Sonic
3
3
and
and then Sonic 3 and
Knuckles. Yeah,
Knuckles.
yeah,
The advanced lock-on technology.
yeah, exactly.
Um,
Yeah, I think really the only stage that still gives me a headache is Stardust Speedway. It's so fast. It's like, and there's just bumpers everywhere.
mhm.
It still gives me a headache every time I play it. It's just like I like the concept of it, of like kind of having these like brass instruments as platforms. Um,
Yeah.
but they don't really do much with it, and it's just so fast. Just everything goes by so quickly, and you're doing loops, and you're getting like you'll go through like this fast section, and then like hit a spring and go back through that same section. You're just like, oh my
Yeah.
word!
It
It's
feels
just
like
it's a lot.
you're fighting with the level rather than like
Yeah,
navigating it.
yeah, exactly.
And some of the boss fights kind of felt like that too. Like the what was it, Collision Chaos?
Yeah,
The pinball game that
yeah.
you had to play. That it was just so frustrating to try and like
Playing like pinball patty cake with Robotnik.
yeah.
Ho 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 ho.
Yeah, the music. Do we want to get into the music?
Yeah, because I mean, this is kind of a broader topic, but I think really the thing that I like most about this game is the tone and the vibe, which is
hmm
definitely helped by the music. This game is so weird. It's so weird. Like, there's no other game that I played that has this kind of weirdo '90s tone to it.
Yeah,
But I find myself like just loving the vibe of this game, even when I'm not having fun playing it.
definitely.
And there's like some like I don't know. I know this is weird. I every time I just decide I'm not going to do the time travel thing because it actively makes the game less fun.
hmm
So it's like I could either have more fun and get the bad future, which is always to me a more fascinating version of the stage, like artistically more interesting.
hmm
So it's like it's almost like a reward to me. Like, oh, I ignore the thing that I hate doing, and I get a cooler version of the stage. Because like the good future is just like there's just like flowers and happiness.
hmm
But like the bad future is this like weird mix, almost like a creepy pasta area, where you have like overgrown areas with like metal coming out of it, and like the world itself feels like nature's been roboticized,
hmm
and it's just fascinating to me. And
Yeah,
that weird laugh that Robotnik does like used to creep me out as a kid so much. I don't know why. It's
Yeah.
just like such a weird sound bite.
Well, it is, and it's just that sort of thing that it just feel it's that like it has an oppressiveness to it that
Yeah,
like goes really well with that tone of like this little planet, literally called Little Planet, um,
yeah,
being uh, taken over by somebody evil, like supremely
yeah,
evil.
yeah. That's what I mean. Like it almost feels it's so dark. It almost feels like that kind of creepy pasta tone,
Yeah,
and I love it.
it's
I used to be
really
creeped
good.
out by it as a kid, but like I love it now. Um,
Objectively
and yeah,
evil Eggman.
yeah, yeah. So it's like I don't even like the good future as much. I think it's less interesting, and they take away all the enemies.
Hmm.
Um, so it's just kind of like you're just running through this like these happy fields. Um, so I don't know. Yeah, the music definitely helps. So this was a CD game, obviously. So they have these really interesting like actual recorded music.
Hmm.
Um, and it's so 90s, but it reminds me a lot of like it's very different from Sonic R, but it reminds me of Sonic R in that sense that there's like no other Sonic game that feels quite like that
Yeah.
because of how weird and like 90s vocal sounds work with Sonic.
Hmm. It definitely like it is the most modern, like
Mhm.
sounding Sonic game in
Yeah.
to be the third Sonic game.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's the development of the music as well. So like you said, because like they have this CD, so they were able to um, they were able to do these recorded tracks, but in order to save space on the disc, they used the Genesis was it like the PCM synthesizer
Yeah, for
for
the
the
past.
yeah for like the past music. And they actually did that for both versions. So there was like a Japanese soundtrack and then a
Mhm.
European version. What I thought was really interesting was that the European version was basically slapped together last minute.
Yeah. Yeah, so I didn't even know until like years later that there's two different like completely different versions of the soundtrack.
Hmm.
And both of them are really good. That's the thing. Like I'm not sure which one I like more.
Yeah.
Definitely have more nostalgia for like the US vocals, um
Hmm.
but yeah, I didn't realize that was like a last minute like oh shoot. um
Yeah. I think
like just kind of getting
I
a
downloaded
vocal group that was in town.
the soundtrack recently, and I have been listening to it nonstop while working on art.
Yeah.
I love it so much. It is such a bop. It is such a vibe. The
Yeah.
way that like everything like fits together so well, and all like the
Collision.
different versions of each zone is are
Yeah.
so it's like so entirely unique.
Collision Chaos, Tidal Tempest, and Wacky Workbench are some of my favorites.
Yeah, I have like especially love the Bad Future for Metallic Madness because it's got those
Oh
like
yeah,
those
yeah.
digital voices that are like you can't do anything, so don't even try.
Yeah.
But it
Perfect
is
encouraging work for drawing, right?
it's so good. It is so much fun. Oh gosh, I love the soundtrack. I think I definitely like the Japanese soundtrack more than the European
Oh
version.
really?
But it's like a close call. They're both
Yeah.
really good.
When it's again, it's hard for me to tell like if I would like the Japanese version more, just because I have so much nostalgia for the European slash US version.
Hmm. So good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not sure like what else to really say about it.
Do you
It's
have any more comments on the zones?
um
I mean, we kind of talk like there's not a whole lot to. There's not a
yeah.
lot of like actual themes. They're more visual themes.
Hmm.
Every stage is kind of springs and ramps the level, but
Yeah.
like with different art for the springs and ramps.
But sometimes it's purple.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Oh, special stages.
Oh yeah.
It is so nice to play a Sonic game where even though I'm bad at the special stages, they feel achievable.
Mm-hmm.
Like it doesn't feel like I need to use an emulator and use save states constantly to be able to get them. The time crystals or whatever they're called,
Yeah.
time stones.
Yeah. It's not the Chaos Emeralds this time,
Yeah,
which I gotta be honest. Like in having had as many Sonic games as we have that have just been like, oh, it's Sonic versus Robotnik, and he's got to get the Chaos Emeralds. Like having a
yeah.
different MacGuffin kind of feels like a breath of fresh air a
Oh,
little
it
bit,
absolutely does.
even though it's basically the same thing. But this feels like much more. I don't know. It feels unique and fresh. Um,
Yeah, it definitely has a lot of that like classic Sega vibe to it. I don't know what it is about classic Sonic games, well, not just Sonic games, but like Sega games in general. But they just had this like weird '90s futuristic vibe to it,
mhm.
to a lot of their games. Um, that is like the Sonic CD is like the perfect example of that vibe, and I love it so much. Uh, if only the game were better.
Yeah.
But yeah, the special stages they're done in a kind of mode 7 3D environment.
Hmm.
Actually, if you've played Sonic Mania, they're a lot like that,
Yeah.
but they don't run quite as well. And you're not trying to like collect,
It's
what is
like
it,
if
balloons or rings in that
it's
one?
like if the special stages in Sonic Mania ran on a Super Nintendo.
Yeah, yeah. So you're kind of running around these fake 3D environments, smashing into 6 UFOs, I think,
Hmm.
with a time limit, and then some of them will give you like speed shoes or more time. Um, and like there are things that look like you'd fall into them and die, but they're somehow water. It's like, oh, those laser fields are actually water.
Yeah.
That thing that looks like a bottomless pit. Oh, that's actually water too. So it really just slows you down. So there's really not this like I'm going to insta fail by touching a red ball,
Yeah.
or I'm going to have tails continually lose all my rings, even if I'm doing well. Like there's not that kind of like mega stress like the other Sonic games have had.
Yeah. Definitely much more achievable. I did not
Yeah,
manage to to do it.
I didn't
I
either.
don't think I
I
even
got
found any
a
of
couple of
the
them.
robot generators.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I think every time I think I'm like, this time I'm gonna try to get them all, and I'm just like, no. I just like it becomes so much less enjoyable if you try and do the thing the game wants you to do.
Yeah.
If you just play it like a regular Sonic game, it's a lot more fun.
Mhm.
Not perfect, but more fun.
I kind of want um because I don't know if it's like what we're going to do next, but I know the next Sonic one we do has got to be 3, right? I kind of
Yes,
want to
it
do
is.
Mania after that.
Oh, that'd be interesting.
And because we've just played the
Yeah,
originals.
it's like the classic arc of the anime.
Yeah, like Mania is like
Completed.
a love letter to those classic Genesis games,
Yeah, it absolutely is.
including CD.
Yes, but it takes everything and just kind of makes it better.
Hmm. Hmm. Such a shame they
Yeah,
couldn't
it's
do that with Origins.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It seems like they also like really like forced headcanon to really crunch on this game, and then like still didn't give them the time they needed.
Yeah,
And it's like they're old games. I don't know why. Like I don't know. I never saw what like the big deal with Origins was in the first place because they've done like a million collections of Sonic games at this point.
yeah,
But widescreen was kind of cool. I didn't realize initially like they were kind of remaking them. Um,
yeah. Well,
that's one of the reasons there's so many issues with it.
yeah, I think the thing is that like for a long time, the definitive way to play the classic Sonic games was through the mobile ports made by Christian Whitehead.
Ah,
Um, and so like if you've got a phone, great, you've got Sonic, but sometimes a lot of people tend to want yeah, a controller that they could
Yeah.
play the games with. Um, so like it's not really like it's the best running, the best looking, the best performing way to play
Right.
classic Sonic. But this was like the first time that like those mobile ports were coming to console. I think is like what the
Right.
big
Right.
deal was.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I don't think I really realized that because like I'm still going back and playing. Like I played CD on my GameCube because I have the old Sonic Gems collection,
Mm-hmm.
which is just poorly named. It's really the collection of all the like bad slash weird Sonic games that didn't fit into the Mega Collection.
My favorite collection, Sonic Chaff.
Yeah, but no, that's perfect. Because it's like Sonic CD, it's Sonic Fighters or the Fighters, which is basically just like awkward Virtua Fighter,
Mm-hmm.
but with Sonic characters. Um, and it's got Sonic R, and then like it's just a collection of the Game Gear games. I'm like, who put that together? That's the weirdest slash worst collection of games, but it's also the only copy of CD I have. So
Yeah, you got to do what you got to do.
yeah. Oh, we didn't mention Metal Sonic or Amy Rose, both of which made their first appearance in this game.
Oh
I think we
yeah,
didn't mention it because they're not important.
yeah. I completely forgot until you said that either of them were in the game. Like
Yeah,
you fight Metal Sonic as a boss,
yeah,
but Metal Sonic kidnaps Amy at the beginning of a stage,
yeah,
and that's kind of all that happens.
yep,
She's there. She's got the hearts for Sonic. Oh no, she's been kidnapped.
yeah,
Somebody come get their child.
yeah.
I just
I mean, neither of them, even though like Metal Sonic's on the box art, he really doesn't play much of a role.
mm-hmm.
He's just
Now
kind of there.
I will say that like he does kind of he fits the aesthetic. Metal
Oh,
Sonic
for
fits
sure.
extremely well with like the tone of the game. It's just
Yeah,
that he's not present in much of a capacity at all. He shows up like twice.
yeah, exactly.
That's a shame.
Yeah, yeah, it is. um, yeah, so that's that's Sonic CD or Sonic the Hedgehog CD.
Sonic
Any
CD's Hedgehogs.
I guess we didn't really talk much else about the bosses. There aren't a lot of great ones. We did a little bit with like the I don't know, pinball bouncing
Mm-hmm.
Robotnik. There's like the bubble one that's legitimately just like the same boss from Sonic 2 with like the spinny things.
Yeah.
Um, again, I don't know. I don't feel like the bosses are really that interesting outside of Metal, and even Metal's just kind of like a race that turns into a boss fight.
Mm-hmm.
And they kind of did like Metal Sonic already in Sonic 2. Like you fight that other like Metal Blade Sonic.
Yeah.
So
That's
this
kind
is
of
just like a
different though.
cooler looking version of Metal
Yeah. This is the superior Metal Sonic. For sure.
2.0. Yeah. Any final thoughts?
I liked it a lot better than I thought that I would. I certainly like it more now than I did than I did prior to playing it.
Yeah.
I kind of like because like you sent me a video and I did some like kind of digging on my own and like
Hmm.
I came to have like a a sort of respect for this game. Like I really
Yeah.
appreciate the ideas that it brings to the table. It executes them fairly poorly
Yeah.
overall, but what it lacks mechanically, it makes up for in spirit. And I just got I gotta respect that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those games like I think about fondly, and then when I go to play it, I'm like, oh yeah, I don't like this one as much as I remembered.
Yeah.
Um,
I would love for it to honestly be remade to get like the Sonic Mania treatment
oh yeah,
for them
yeah,
to like create optimized levels and whatnot. Um,
right.
I think
Well, I
that
guess
would
we got touches of that with Stardust Speedways in Mania, right?
yeah, and Metallic Madness
That's right. That's right.
and the
Why do I
special
keep forgetting
stages
about that
are
one?
because it's close to the end. I think
Yeah,
it's like somewhere between like the Mirage Saloon stage and uh, the Titan stages.
yeah. I guess like the Studiopolis and like the winter areas
Hmm.
and the western area. Like I think those just like really stand out to me. Whenever I think of Mania, like those are the three areas that I think of because they're just so good.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in Mania. I'm excited to get to that
Yeah,
after
yeah. I think
three.
that's a good idea to have that after we play Sonic 3. Do we want to? Okay, do we want to do like Sonic 3 and then Sonic 3 and Knuckles, or Sonic? Or sorry, Sonic and Knuckles, or do we want to combine those into one? Because they are
Uh,
technically two separate games, but they play identically.
I'm not sure. I guess if one's the same but has Knuckles in it, so I guess I don't know.
It's the back half of the game, right? So it picks up like at the halfway point story wise.
Hmm.
Um,
I couldn't say. I don't know enough
okay,
about the differences between the two.
yeah,
We'll figure it out.
yeah. We'll figure something out. I was going to mention. I don't know if I don't know if you want to go ahead and do this. I was thinking of replaying Sunshine for the summertime, and I know we talked about doing that on the game club, um, as well as 64, like back to back.
Mm.
Um, so here's the question: like, do you want to do that or go back and keep playing Sonic?
Mm, mm,
Because like Sunshine's got those perfect summer vibes, but it's also
yeah,
Sunshine.
it is also sunshine. Um. Yeah. Let's do it. Let's do sunshine.
Do we want to do? Your idea was to do 64 and then Sunshine back to back. Do we? Is that still something you want to do?
Um. Sure. Yeah. I don't think that I've ever actually like completed a game of Mario 64. So
Oh, really?
yeah, just I don't know something about the way Mario handles just like doesn't vibe well with
Yeah.
me. But I also haven't really given it an earnest go. So
Okay. Because I mean, I don't. You don't have to twist my arm to play 64 again. I play that game almost every year, regardless.
mhm.
Um, but I've also like, I feel like when you play 64 enough, you just kind of ascend to this like other state of being where like the controls finally click, the physics finally start to click, and then you can start like speed running it, and
Mm.
it starts to feel really good. However,
Yeah, you have to
I
get there.
fully, yeah, it's a trial. It's like climbing a steep mountain, to get to the top.
Hmm.
So I'm there. So I love 64, but I also like I'm interested to talk about it because I also I feel like it definitely has some issues.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. I
Or
shouldn't
does it?
really. Yeah, or does it?
Is
Uh,
it actually perfect?
yeah. Who am I to say? I came into Sonic CD expecting not to like it, and I ended up
this this first
kind of liking it a little bit. So,
those first couple messages you sent me, it was like I can't remember how you worded it, but you're like something about like I'm suffering here.
oh gosh, what did I say?
Yeah,
Um,
it should be back in the. Okay. I've never experienced a more frustrating game mechanic than the way time travel works in Sonic CD. I hate this game so much, and it's so funny. I was at work and I laughed out loud. I then had to explain to my coworker what was going on.
oh gosh.
Well, if nothing else, you gave me a good laugh. So
Yeah, and you know what? In the end, in the end, I discovered a fondness for the soundtrack, which will stick with me for a very long time to come.
because you kind of came around on Donkey Kong Country as well. So
Yeah, yeah, I
who
did.
knows?
Who knows? We'll see. You know,
We both came away from the first Sonic like expecting to like it more, and both being like incredibly disappointed.
yeah.
So that happens too sometimes.
Mhm. I feel like three is going to be better in a lot of ways, but also not as good as two.
Yeah. I Here's the thing. I rarely play 3 because I love 2 so much. So like most of my memories of 3 are from my childhood of playing it and being like, I hate that the second level of this game is a water stage, and then like getting because I couldn't complete it for a very long time. I couldn't get past the second zone.
Mhm.
So like I have this like stigma of like, oh, I don't like Sonic 3 all that much. But I also think that's just like a lot of that's just because I was bad at the game. It's just like one of those weird relics from your childhood that sticks with you. Where I have to like go, no, every time I play Sonic 3, like as an adult, I end up enjoying it a lot more than I expect. So
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll see.
yeah,
But it sounds like we're doing Mario 64 next.
yeah,
I've got my fancy new Steam Deck, so I'll see if I can get it running on that.
that's cool.
Would it be would it be unfair if I tried to get that PC port of Mario 64 running? Would that
I
be
mean,
would that be the improper way to experience it?
I, I mean, here's the thing. You know, the biggest change that it makes is the graphics, right?
I think so. Yeah.
So
It like
you've seen what it looks like.
it runs at like 60 frames a second instead of 20.
Okay. Well, maybe that'll be I think it's 30, but yeah, it's not great.
12 to 15 on N64 on hardware.
Yeah. Um yeah, no, I think that would be an interesting opinion.
Yeah.
And if if it makes you like the game more and tolerate it long enough to get through it, maybe yeah, if you can,
Yeah, I'll see what I
I'd
can
definitely
do.
like to
I'm
hear
not
about it.
counting on it, so I won't put too much time into trying to get it to run. I'll
Yeah.
probably just do like a regular emulation.
Yeah. Yeah, so I was thinking I was gonna play the game on original hardware. I did get secondhand because I would never give Nintendo money for this. I did get a secondhand, much cheaper copy of 3D All Stars just recently. I haven't
Ooh.
even played it, so I don't know. Maybe I'll try the Switch version. I heard it wasn't great though, so that's. I guess I'll be a pretty good judge of that since I've played the game so many times.
Yeah, you'll know for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, all right then.
I mean, I'm excited. I love 64 so much.
I, I mean, I'm going into this like I did with CD. You know,
Yeah.
I have like this idea of how I feel about it already, but I've gone into these games with an open mind, and I've been pleasantly surprised more times uh, than I've been like reaffirmed. I guess.
Yeah. I felt that way with playing Dark Souls recently.
Hmm.
I found a lot more to like about. I know, I technically hadn't played it before, but I did play Bloodborne, and I didn't remember having a lot of fun with that. But like, yeah, I had kind of one of those moments too, where I'm like, okay, I'm actually starting to get it now.
Hmm.
So
Yeah. Once you
it is possible.
yeah, it's like you said earlier. You have that moment where you just ascend and everything falls into place, and then you start to
Yeah.
like really have fun with it.
Yeah.
So who knows? Maybe I will end up finding a love for Mario 64 that I just have never had. And
Maybe this will surpass Resident Evil 2 remake for you,
oh, maybe.
and Elden Ring. No, and somehow Hollow Knight.
Yeah, I'm gonna put way more time into Mario 64 than Hollow Knight. Just you wait.
Uh huh.
I didn't even put like half as much time into Mario Odyssey as I've probably put into Hollow Knight.
Yeah. Well, that's fair though. The end game's not the best in Odyssey.
Yeah,
It's long, but it's we'll have to play Odyssey sometime.
yeah,
Because I haven't played it since my original run through back in 2017.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, it would be cool to do.
I feel like I was more positive on the game than you were initially, and then I feel like over the years my opinion has dropped down. But I'm curious to see if that's actually the case, because that's just been like, all mental. I haven't replayed it. So.
Yeah. Well, maybe similar to how we're doing Sonic, we could do a journey through Mario's platformers.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Avoiding all of the new Super Mario Brothers games.
Yeah. The 3D platformers.
Yeah.
Even though New Super is technically 3D, it's 2D.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. All right, well, that was our show.
Yeah, thanks for listening. We talked about video games.
We did. We always do.
One way or another.
We come on here thinking it's going to be a Garfield and Burrito podcast, and we end up talking about video games every time.
Yeah.
So.
And here I was looking to share my new cheesy burrito recipe, but alas, you'll just have to wait to hear about that one.
Garfield's Big Bean Burrito.
I don't know.
All right, well, on that note, thank you for listening, everyone. I think we've lost Sophia.
Thanks for listening, everybody.